What is up, everyone? I'm coming on here for a couple of plays for the day. I want to get into how we did over the weekend. We actually, unfortunately, had a losing weekend, which is very frustrating. And obviously, every weekend, every pick that I send out, I want to hit. But we did unfortunately go down about 10 to 15 units this weekend. We needed maybe one more four-man to come through for us, and we would have broke even. And then if we had one more four-man, then we would have went up, right? And I want to say, over a course of a month in these weekends that we have, college football, NFL weekends, I would expect 1 week out of the whole month to probably be a losing week. And then out of the other 3 weeks in that month, right? There's 4 weeks in a month. 1 out of the 4, we have a losing week, and then 3 out of the 4, we have a winning week, right? And normally the winning weeks could look anywhere in between going up 10 to sometimes even and I'm not even joking about this, sometimes 40 to 50 units in one weekend if we get extremely lucky. We have actually had days on this channel where we've gone up 40 units in one day. Okay, and I know that sounds crazy, but there are, I'm not saying it happens all the time, but maybe every couple of months we have a 40 unit day where we just hit 5 four-mans in a row. Everything goes right. And yeah, we did have a losing weekend, which sucks. And it doesn't really look like that based on this screenshot. But I will say, we hit this one here, we hit this one here, we hit this one here as four-mans. And then we also kind of hit this one as a half, right? So we have 1, 2, 3 and a half entries that ended up hitting for us. And then we have some discounts and stuff over here on the right. But, these are really the things that need to hit for us. And if we look at last weekend, we had actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and a half. So we 5.5 four-mans. And again, we went up about 15 to 20 units last weekend. And then this weekend we went down about 10 to 15, I would say. So over the course of the season so far, which has been about 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we are actually profitable, right? So this was actually last weekend. You guys will see we are here, and then now down a little bit, of course, but we're still having a higher high or whatever it is, or a lower high, So again, through October, I want to go up here. I want to be back at all-time highs, and I will say even though last weekend we had a good weekend and we did profit, and then this weekend we didn't, I'll still say the 2 weekends we have not even gotten lucky. We have honestly been not lucky. 2 weekends ago we went 13 entries that went 3 out of 4. So 13 entries last weekend went 3 out of 4. And then this weekend, I don't know how many entries went 3 out of 4. I didn't count. But again, we had a lot of entries, happen just like this, missed by 1 here. This was an entry I actually gave out on this channel. This quarterback gets hurt, which is unfortunate. I don't want these guys to get hurt, but this guy gets hurt. The backup comes in, which, of course, when a backup comes in, there's an opportunity that the backup just completely sucks. And the backup threw for 350 yards or something in his first NFL game. And that caused Caden Lee to actually get 2 receptions. He only caught the ball twice for 75 yards. So that was very, very close. Here's another example of something getting very close with UCLA. UCLA played horribly, and that guy does barely go over. Last night, we had a good, chance. And then, just across the board, I don't need to show absolutely everything, but you'll see here, Mahomes barely miss. Here's a good example of correlation going the opposite direction, where if you guys don't know what we do on this channel, I do correlation together. So, you'll see in this play, for example, actually, so for this A&M play, I take the overs together, boom, over hits together in Counter-Strike because longer game equals more kills. And then in A&M, these A&M players, they go over together, right? Marcel Reed almost gets 400 yards. KC Concepcion gets 82 of those yards. So these guys do go over together. So the more that Marcel Reed is throwing the ball, the better that he does, then the more yards he's going to get. And then the more yards that one of his top receivers is also going to get. So see this same concept where it's here. Take the overs, and then I ended up taking the unders on this Iowa game because, again, the more a quarterback throws, the more yards, but on the contrary, the less a quarterback throws, the less yards he's going to get, okay? So I took the unders, and you'll see it didn't go over by too much, but still do go over for us to miss that entry there. So, again, this is what we do. We do correlation. So you'll see a lot of entries over the weekend, barely missing by 1. Here's another example of that in this USC game. Malachi Lemon does go under. He gets 63 yards, so he played a good game, but the number 2 receiver was actually the guy who got a lot of the yards. The number 2 receiver, I believe, got 120 yards, and his name is something Lane, and he got a ton of yards, right? So, if we would have took that second receiver, that would have been another nice one for us there. So, yeah, overall, we do go down on the weekend, and I want to say I'm very optimistic. College football is what we're built on. College, NFL, and League of Legends has also been doing extremely well for us. I would say if there's anything that didn't go well, it was probably Counter-Strike, which, I'll come right out and say it that Counter-Strike is not as correlated as League of Legends and as football, so that's going to be college football and NFL. A big reason why I use Counter-Strike is to shift the payouts, to not get as bad of a payout as like getting a full 4-man college football or a full 4-man League of Legends would give you. So a lot of these entries sometimes will only give you like 5x or 6x, which is horrible, right? We want to try to get 8x, 8.5x or higher. So that means sometimes getting a 10x, sometimes getting a 9x. And Counter-Strike is correlated together, but it's not as correlated and as good as some of these other sports, but we use it to kind of get our payout shift in a better spot, right? So again, here's a good example of correlation as well. I take the overs on these guys when I should have took the unders, because this T1 team, which by the way, one of the best teams in the world, but this T1 team actually goes 0-3. So they lost every game. They got swept in this series, which I don't even know the odds that they were going to get swept. They're actually favored in this series, so they're favored to win, and they go 0-3. Again, like I said, they're probably a top 3 team in the world playing like a top 10 team in the world, but no way, shape, or form should they have gotten swept. And then even stuff like this, guys, like, again, I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, because I'm not, but because these weekends do happen. Like I said, over the course of a month, we're expected to kind of go down in one of those weeks. But even a play like this, which is a really good call on these Tennessee overs, you guys see that this guy almost got 200 yards. This Chris Brazzell guy. Amazing game by him. Joey Aguilar, amazing game by him. That Georgia-Tennessee game was amazing. And this is great. You know, we get a 4.5x, but we could have easily got this as a 9x if this guy would have played, right? And he didn't play. And I'll say, just looking at this, with probably like 70 to 80% certainty, this guy would have went under just, you know, if he did play. But he ended up not playing. So this one we could have easily hit too, but again, I don't want to make any excuses. You guys know that I show all of my wins, my losses. I'm not gonna go into it today, but if you do want to see like all my plays, actually I honestly might. But you'll see, you know, everything is here, everything is tracked. Every time that I send out a play, it goes on to winnable, and then it gets tracked in winnable, right? So here's some screenshots I showed. Some of these I'm not gonna end up screenshotting just because you guys saw such a clutter and such a mess, but. You know, here's another example of Counter-Strike and college football, right? Counter-Strike, I end up taking the unders. I should have took the overs. And then college football does hit together because I took the unders together. So you want to take things either under, or over together. So hopefully that makes sense. I think there's another good example of that up here with VSM. I think VSM is a guy that we bet on quite a lot. Yeah, that was an example I already showed, I think. Yeah, VSM, we missed 3 really close entries. This one, like I showed, I've already showed some of these, but yeah, here's another example of that too. Counter-Strike, college football, you know, and then we do have our wins kind of spread across the board. So here's another example of that with Notre Dame. Notre Dame, obviously, it was 40-41, so this was just an absolute shootout of a game. I wouldn't have expected Notre Dame versus A&M to be a shootout of a game, but it was. And this guy throws for over, you know, close to 300 yards, and then his tight end gets 85 of those yards. So should have took the overs, but you know, hindsight is 2020, right? So overall, you know, I'm optimistic of college football as always. If you guys don't know, last year we went up like crazy in college football and in the NFL. And like I said, the past 2 weeks we went up like crazy the first week. Not like crazy. It was a good weekend. You know, we went up like 20 units. And then this weekend was just a lot of near misses and close. But I will say, like, we haven't had that one lucky weekend yet where like things actually start going our way. And once that happens, I mean, you can easily go up 35 to 45 units in a weekend. And I'm telling you guys, like, the graph can legitimately like climb up to like here in one weekend, right? And that's happened multiple times on this channel. You know, you'll see a climb up like this. This was a weekend where we probably had like a 30-unit weekend. This, again, was one of these. So we're due. You know, I don't like the word due, but we are kind of due for one of those. Real quick, also, I know I'm talking a lot, but that's just because the spirit of this channel is being very transparent, going over my wins and losses, tracking everything, and winning long term. Okay, so these are the things that we want to do. I want to be transparent. When we lose, I don't want to just like skip over it and be like, oh guys, we win all the time and we just lost. We do win all the time, but I want to be very transparent, and that's what we do here on this channel. This Friday's picks, we went 5-7, so again, not ideal. We had some wins, we had some losses. You know, a good win here was Malik Murphy. I pretty much talked about Malik Murphy all week as my favorite pick. He goes over by quite a lot. Some of these guys like Nussmeier and Sam Levitt, they kind of let me down, go under. Nussmeier looks kind of weird this year. LSU looks really weird. I might stay away from betting on them. And then A.J. Brown goes over by just one receiving target. Or, yeah, he goes over by one receiving target, which is unfortunate. And then Justin Fields, I took his over completion percentage. I mean, at the end of the day, this was a bad play. He goes 3-11 from the field and gets subbed out. The first week, he honestly looked like a top 12 quarterback, and you're like, Justin Fields, maybe he's pretty good. And then the second week, he just looks absolutely horrible. But I guess that's kind of the Justin Fields experience. He's not consistent, and yeah, it kind of is what it is on that front. But overall, I will say, so the first 2 weekends, we were 13-7 if you added everything up, and then this weekend we went 5-7 on those Friday videos. So now we are 18-14 over the 3 weeks that we have been doing those Friday videos. So still obviously positive. I think that's probably still like a 55 to 60% win rate, which is decent, but I want to get that more up to 70. So hopefully this number gets higher and then this number stays the same, right? And we'll try to do that as best as possible. Let me just leave this up, but yeah, guys, we do have a couple of games tonight, which is really fun to see. I actually have 3 picks in today's video. Okay, so I have 3 picks. The first one, I'm just going to get to it. It's a big 4-man entry right here on PrizePicks. We have so if you don't know, PrizePicks, actually, they tweeted this out, that they are doing a discount every single day this week, okay? So credit to PrizePicks. It looks like they're not going to be the most incredible discounts ever. It looks like they might just be like 20 to 30 yard discounts, which, you know, is a little bit of a warning, but discounts are discounts at the end of the day, and I'll take them. So I'm going to take CJ Stroud over. I'm also going to take him under in this video, and we'll kind of get to that. But first of all, we'll get to his over right here. We're going to take him over. It's the discount. His normal line is about 230, so about a 30 to 28 yard discount, which at the end of the day isn't amazing. Again, we're going to take it though. And then we're going to take Justin Herbert under pass attempts. We're going to take Keenan Allen under receptions. And then we're going to take Amarian Hampton over rush attempts, okay? And this is what we did actually the other week with the Eagles, and we got extremely close to hitting it. I think the only thing that we missed was Saquon Barkley not getting one more rush attempt is what he needed. And if you guys don't know the theory of this, it's very correlated together. So just as I explained, things that happen together is what we need to play in these entries. So in passing yards, we take the over on the quarterback, we take an over on a receiver. But this is also very correlated together, right? We have 3 players on the same team, on the Chargers. And what we need to happen is we need the Chargers to get up early in this game, because what ends up happening in the NFL is if you get up early in a game and you stay ahead in this game, which again, the Chargers are favored in this game, then the teams are going to pass less and they're going to run more, okay? So let's look at examples of this from just this week, okay? This game that happened last night, all right? We have Falcons versus the Vikings. The Falcons were up. If you guys watched this game, it was kind of a boring game, but Falcons were up this entire game, okay? Michael Penix, who normally throws the ball like in the mid-30s, threw the ball 21 times, 13 pass completions for 135 yards. Bijan Robinson, 22 carries. Algier, the backup running back, gets 16 carries. Okay, so they win this game by like 20 points, 18 points, or 17 points, and 16 points, I think. And they get so many carries, it's not even funny, because they were winning this game like crazy. All right, same thing. With this Chiefs Eagles game, you'll see Jalen Hurts. They win this game. They're winning this game this entire game pretty much. Chiefs are on the back foot, and Jalen Hurts gets 22 pass attempts. That's all he threw the ball. And then Saquon Barkley gets 22 carries. And again, if you look at all of the receivers, they pretty much go under as well. I think this Panthers-Cardinals game should look the same, but Cardinals just did not get the ball at that last sort of drive, because there was an onside kick in that game. So again, this isn't going to happen 100% of the time, but it happens quite a lot. You'll see this Bills-Jets game. Bills absolutely dominate the Jets. At halftime, it was 20-3. Josh Allen, again, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. He only has to throw the ball 25 times for 150 yards to win this game. You'll see James Cook, number 1 running back. He actually gets subbed out of this game, but you'll see James Cook gets 21 carries, and his line was probably like 15 or 14, something like that. And you'll see everyone on this team, every single receiving target, maybe other than Kincaid, goes under, okay? So you probably would have bet on Keenan Coleman or Shakir if you were to bet on this game and take one of their top receivers to go under. And you'll see Khalil Shakir, only 1 reception. Keenan Coleman, 3 receptions for 26 yards, okay? I know his line was at 3.5 or 4, and he gets 3 receptions. So again, they ran the ball like crazy to end up winning this game, all right? I'm not going to go through every play, but hopefully you guys understand this is kind of the concept here. And it's less about these individual players, less about, I think Justin Herbert's not going to do well because of this player, or I think Justin Herbert's not going to do well, or I think Keenan Allen's not going to do well because of this corner guarding him. And it's more about how are we going to think about this game entirely. And if this does end up happening, which I would probably give it like a 30% chance of happening, okay? So if the Chargers are winning this game, if they go up 14-3 by halftime or something like that, then they're going to look to run the ball in that whole second half. And Amarian Hampton's going to get a lot of carries. And if Amarian Hampton's getting a lot of carries, that's going to take away plays from Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen, okay? So these guys are very correlated together, but then you also have correlation just entirely because if the Chargers are winning this game, they're all going to go and kind of do this, right? They're all going to move in this direction. So that's the first play. Second play is actually going to be on Onyx Odds, and then we do have a third pick in today's video as well on PrizePicks, all right? So second pick on Onyx Odds, I'm taking the Buccaneers money line. We actually get a plus money on this, and I don't know why we get a plus money on this. Buccaneers look really good. Texans look honestly pretty bad. It looks like they're offense couldn't really get going. They don't really have a run game. And I think the Buccaneers, especially Baker Mayfield, does very well in these night games. In Sunday Night Football and Monday Night Football, he kind of always shows out. I think Mbuka is a player that is a rookie receiver for them, and I think he instantly is making a huge addition to this offense. Bucky Irving, I'm a big fan of. I just think their offense is really, really good, and I don't think the Texans are going to be able to keep up with this, okay? So Buccaneers money line on Onyx Odds. If you don't know what Onyx Odds, guys, is very important. You can get a free $100 today on Onyx Odds. So they're giving you a free $100 in free picks. Now I say free, all you have to do is put in $10 and spend $10 on Onyx Odds. So again, people act like you're like losing the $10. You're not losing the $10. You're putting $10 on a play. So you put $10 on a play, maybe it wins, maybe it loses. But on top of that, you're getting $100 in free picks on Onyx Odds. Now I get this question a ton. How is the free $100 going to come to me? It looks like this. It's four $25 entries, okay? Four $25 entries that you're able to take. Now, again, if you wanted to just put this on crazy parlays and try to turn this 25 into like $500, you could do that. You know, I'm not going to tell you what to do. Or what you could do, for example, is you could take Buccaneers money line and Texans money line, and one of those teams is going to win, right? One of those teams is going to win, so you're going to get paid out on either one of those entries, and then you'll kind of like have those free picks into money, and then you can start building your bankroll from there. So you can do whatever you want. You can be, you know, risky about it and take crazy long shot parlays, or you can take, you know, be very calculated about it and kind of like middle the two entries, right? Now, that's up to you. At the end of the day, we all love free money. Everyone is going to benefit from getting a free $100 from Onyx Odds. Again, I talked to their founder a lot. He wants to get as many people on this app as possible. It's a completely very, very legit app that is available in all of these states right here. And if your state is in the purple and you like free money, you like a free $100, then sign up for Onyx Odds. Now, there's a couple of ways to do so. Really, the only thing would be is just texting me. That's a very simple way to do so. I'll get you guys into Onyx Odds. I'll get you guys the link. And then there's also going to be a link in the pinned comment that's going to be a link to this play. Okay, so I've already gotten, you know, dozens of you guys sign up for Onyx Odds. So if you already have Onyx, this link in the pinned comment should take you to this play. So you don't have to do any other work. You don't have to do, you know, finding the money line, even though it's not that difficult to. But all you have to do is click that link. It should take you to the play, and then put that in. And if you don't have Onyx yet, that link will take you actually to sign up with my code, put money into Onyx Odds, and then take the money line with the $10 or whatever. Once you do that, send me a screenshot to this number. Okay, so just send me a screenshot of the $10 pick you can take. If you hate the Buccaneers money line, whatever, for whatever reason, you can take whatever you want, guys. I'm not here to like force you to take picks, but take whatever you want, put $10 on it with Onyx Odds, and then again, you will get 4 free $25 entries to take on Onyx Odds, and you can spread this out however you want, right? They have boxing, they have, you know, football, they have WNBA, they have player props, they have spreads, they have money lines, and again, that is all legal in all of these purple states, all right? So free $100 on Onyx Odds today, very, very insane. Now, third pick today, all right? CJ Stroud under. Now, I looked at this line on CJ Stroud and is over, and something about it is off, okay? I don't know what it is, but just the fact that they are taking CJ Stroud over. I already said, you know, the Texans, they could very well win this game, even though I'm taking Buccaneers money line and stuff, and I think Buccaneers are going to win. 200 yards in the NFL is still a lot to get, okay? Especially if you're winning a game. We just saw Josh Allen versus the Jets. He got like 150 yards versus the Jets, and they won by like 35 points or something like that. I think they won by like 20, but you get what I'm saying, right? So if the Texans are winning this game, CJ Stroud's going to throw less, and I mean, we could very easily see CJ Stroud get like 180 yards and still win this game, and he still plays a solid game. Now, another thing about this, guys, is I'm taking CJ Stroud under. So if CJ Stroud, let's just say he gets 220 yards in this game, okay? Let's say he gets 220 yards. Now, if he gets 220 yards, we would hit this entry and we would hit this entry, okay? So a little bit of a bonus there is that's actually called middling, okay? So if he gets between 228 yards to 203 yards, we would hit both of these entries. And again, he has a pretty high likelihood of getting right in between that range, just because he's probably not going to throw for 400 yards. He's also probably not going to throw for 100 yards. He's most likely to throw between like 200 to 250 yards, something like that. So that's why I like this here. Again, every time PrizePicks plays a discount nowadays, I'm a little bit skeptical of it, especially because, you know, they had that, I don't know, just some of these pitcher strikeouts and stuff are just kind of get on my nerves. But anyway, we're going to take CJ Stroud under, actually, and pair him up with an entry here. And then we're going to take this Khalil guy, and we're going to take him over assists. Now, I'm not going to get super into this entry, guys. Pretty much what I want to say is AL versus JDG. AL has faced them 4 times in the past like month and a half. They have won all 4 games, so they're 0-4 in the past month and a half versus them. They are playing a best-of-3 series, so I think they at least take 2 games off of them. And I think Khalil, you know, normally in wins, so when he wins games, he normally gets between, I would say, like 17 to 18 assists. Okay, so I think in the 2 wins, he probably gets like 17 assists each. That's going to put him right at like 37, you know, or that's going to put him right at like 34 to 36. And he's going to have 1 loss where he probably gets like, I don't know, 5 to 8 assists. I will also say both of these teams are in the league, a league called the LPL. And the LPL is a very, very aggressive league. So there's a lot of kills happening in this league normally, and that's going to obviously benefit the overs, okay? So not going to get super into it, all these statistics and stuff, but just know he's in a really good league with a lot of killing, and he is the much better team in this game that is 0-4 over the past couple of months, all right? So that is going to be it for the day. Hopefully you guys learned something. Hopefully you guys, you know, understand what we do on this channel, correlation, and you guys appreciate the transparency. Again, we have a long road ahead of us on football. We have, you know, including the playoffs and everything, including up until Super Bowl weekend, we're going to have about, I don't know, 21 to 22 weekends where we have football. So we're going to have a couple of losses in those weekends. We didn't have an absolute crushing weekend where just nothing hit. We did have some hits at the end of the day. And hopefully, you know, as I talked about earlier in the video, you guys saw that we had so much barely miss and stuff, and easily could have had a positive weekend on the weekend. And again, we're going to eventually have one of those weekends where we go up 30 to 40 units, all right? I'm telling you guys, it's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to be next weekend. I don't know if it's going to be 2 weekends, 3 weekends from now, but it'll eventually happen. And, you know, it's going to wipe away just, like, we could have 3 weekends losing like this in a row, and we have like a 40, 50 unit weekend. It's going to wipe away all those losses, all right? So, again, very optimistic about it. I'm always optimistic about any college football and NFL season. We learned a lot this weekend too. I will say what I learned is that we want to take any Big 12 team over. All right, these Texas Techs, TCUs, Baylors, missing one, SMU. These games go crazy into these overs. Okay, Texas Tech's quarterback got like almost 600 yards or something crazy like that. All right, so like any of those guys, take the overs. And try to think anything else that I learned. But yeah, overall, guys, very optimistic about it. Let's have a good Monday to finish off this week. For Monday Night Football, 2 games tonight, so that'll be exciting. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video.